pouring out for my boy Rocks, man. Been around for what, like 10 chapters, and just instantly just cemented himself. Well, instantly, but cemented himself as just one of the greatest characters that this series has introduced. But yeah, man. Before we get into it, if you guys have been liking these reactions, please throw me a like or a subscribe or a share, possibly. And maybe check out some of the other reactions that I do on my channel. I'm watching the One Piece anime, obviously. I'm also watching Jujutsu Kaisen and the show Black Sails, also about pirates. So yeah, feel free to check that out. But yeah, dog, let's talk about this chapter, man. Chapter 1164, Davy Blood. So yeah, we leave off from, where Rox is getting dummy reverse-eyed. And it's kind of cool to see that it's taking a little bit for it to happen. So like Rox is actually like actively resisting it pretty like damn effectively. Just like he's able to get a lot out right now. And dog, he's getting out just the absolute like disrespect slash like best like lore droppy kind of things that we've heard in a little bit. Cause like what does he say? Like, well, like real quick before we get to that, like we see a shot of all of the top fighters in the last chapter like react to their attacks just like not doing shit to what they are still perceiving as that spider thing. Still not really putting together the whole emu Goro, probably not even the Gorosei aspect of it at this point. Like I don't know if that's what Roger like grasps what that is. Like Garp definitely know that's a Gorosei, but I don't know about any of the other ones. Yeah, we see, Rox using like the last like remnants of just like his own self-control to just taunt Emu with we got a couple like things that he taunted him with. The big one right now, Davy D. Jones was once the king of the world. And that like absolutely infuriates Emu. Like we see him like he's like shaking angry. And he's like he hasn't shown this kind of like anger since like he talked to Cobra, but way back when. But like, yeah, he's like, shut the fuck up. He was never king, not even for an instant. And he mentions that like, there was like a grievance between him and Davy. But like, obviously, that has nothing to do with you. And Rox is like, he knows that he's getting under his skin because like he's just, oh, why are you so panicked then over the name Davy? And I'm also wondering now, just like Davy D. Jones, he could have been like a leader figure, like king in his own right, just like maybe not like an officially crowned king. He was like the one that people actually like followed in the end, maybe even Joy Boy as well. Which brings me to like the other big thing that Rox mentions as part of another taunt, obviously. But he says, what's more frightening to you, Davy D. Jones or Joy Boy? So now we kind of know, or actually that's more or less confirmed, yeah, that Davy D. Jones and Joy Boy, they're two different people. They apparently shared the same dream, which like that kind of lines up with the whole D and what Joy Boy was meant to like represent. Yeah, like that like dream is what Emu is trying to put an end to right now. But, Emu, as like upset as he is, like he's also gonna try to rub a little salt on the wound for Rocks too, because he mentions that, hey, I'm eyeing these giants over here, and they seem to have a king that will is pretty susceptible to pressure or blackmail or whatever. I kind of have this king in the palm of my hand right now, and that fucking pisses off Rox. He's like, whoa, 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 leave Herald out of this, man. They just want peace. But yeah, he was like, that got in your skin, didn't it? Now hurry the fuck up, and yeah, then he completes the dummy reverse eye, and oh man, dude. What like everything that follows is just like there's a mix of emotions going on. So the first thing we see is like him, like Rocks dropped to the ground. He just, like finally is starting to like realize, okay, damn it, I'm actually fading. Meanwhile, Big Mom and Kaido, they're just like, huh, Rocks, what's happening to you? What happened up there? Still not really putting together that he's not himself anymore. And then we see or we hear Emu give the kill order again. Big Mom at least notices that Rox has gotten bigger, but Kaido, it's actually kind of insane. Like, he does not have any time to put together what the fuck just happened, because Rox, he's just like, I need all of you to move it right now because I have my own shit to do. And within a split second, Rox jumps up, stabs Kaido in the nose, and then just launches him at a wall. Pretty much, I'm pretty assume knocks him out. Cause like, yeah, we see it like in a panel, just like Kaido, just like ugh, like that with his eyes widened. It's pretty clear to see now how Kaido got his betrayal complex. Because yeah, like he didn't even have time to really put together that Rox got dummy reverse-eyed. So in his mind, Rox was doing whatever up there. He got caught and then got thrown down. And then the next thing he did was just straight up attack Kaido. And like Kaido just, huh? What? Instantly knocked out. And Big Mom, just seeing all this, she's like, she kind of like gets that like Rox is different somehow, but like not to the point where like, whoa. Where did this shit come from, Rox? Like, I knew you weren't a super trustworthy guy, but like, what? How are you just gonna start attacking us when the fucking government is right in front of you? And like, it's crazy to see Rox takes out Big Mom also just in one shot, one shotting both Kaido and Big Mom, like a little bit before their primes, but still like when they were still just insanely strong. It's an insane feat to see. Granted, he is powered up by Emu right now, but I have a feeling that Rox could probably do that without Emu. Like Big Mom, Kaido, they took like a couple like sucker punches, we'll say. But you know, Whitebeard, he's ready to take on whatever is happening right now. And he even like tries to give Rox the benefit of the doubt. He's like, bro, is that really what's happening right now? Are we all just like in your way? And Rox just has to give the confirmation. It's like, yep. Whitebeard just like, fuck it. And we see a great little clash. Whitebeard on the defense with his Devil Fruit. Little conqueror's hockey clash between both of them. Strong enough to break one of the rocks of God Valley, which is now making that theory that, you know, God Valley is still around, possibly in the form of a Thriller Bark. It makes that theory a tiny bit stronger now, because like I've always wondered, like, okay, if God Valley didn't technically disappear, and so in the event that it wasn't like, you know, Mother Flamed Lulusia or whatever, like how did they make an island disappear? You know, yeah, maybe that island didn't disappear. Maybe it's still around, but that's a theory for another time. Because right after that, we continue to see Rox, you know, hunt after his wife and child, and we see like a bunch of the celestial dragons and the marines start to board like the escape ships. And it kind of like is funny that, yeah, this whole chaos is giving reason for, you know, the marines to protect the celestial dragons, and by extension probably a bunch of the slaves that Kuma did not save. This is all to say that it's still looking pretty good for Garp right now in terms of beating the oppression allegations. Because I'll talk about it more at the end of this, but like a lot of the propaganda that we were fed, I say propaganda, but it was really just like a couple panels from Sengoku way back when about like what actually happened on God Valley. We have so much more context around it now that like we know. First, we see Rayleigh still making away with Shocky. We see the Roger pirates carrying the little baby Shanks treasure chest. We see like little Z's coming out of it. But poor Dragon, man. Like he's feeling basically the same despair like Luffy felt right after Kuma just like sent his whole crew away. Like he couldn't even save a single baby. That's for sure just gonna eat at him forever, and until he like probably finds out that that was Shanks that he saved. He's gonna have this guilt complex like for a while. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that really starts to like take effect of him. But also we get some more Kuma action, and dude, every time now we see like a new like facet of Kuma, he just like outdoes himself because he is the freaking reason that Blackbeard is alive. And well, obviously, like we'll have to see a little bit more for Eris, but like it's insane that we like the way that Eris and Teach get away from Rox is by being saved by the only other like decent person that's around right now, and the person that's actually going around trying to save people in trouble. So that's a hats off to Oda right there. Yeah, I like that. And you know, in the chaos, we see Captain John Gonzui and Shiki all trying to make away with either their lives or the various treasure that they've spent the time stealing. Meanwhile, that whole Kuma Eris rocks chase is going on. But yeah, we see after Kuma saves Eris and Teach that Emu registers that as, oh, these two must be dead. All right, Davy rocks, what he's calling him, to continue to snuff out every other life here, which is kind of interesting because it at least shows some limitation to Emu's, like, I assume his observation hockey, that he's able to, as long as they're not in the vicinity anymore, as long as they were able to quickly get out of the vicinity, that's probably like the big thing. He could just like register them as like, oh, they're clearly just been instantly killed. Another big, hats off to my boy Kuma. Just really, just like Kuma just gets more and more goated, man. Continuing on, Roger and Garp make sure that their respective crews or their units have all been safely evacuated from the island and to continue any evacuation efforts. Meanwhile, they both collectively let out a Conqueror's Hockey Blast just to flex and bring out Rox. He's like, yo, Rox, get your bitch ass over here. To which Rox just like immediately flies over to them, which surprises Emu. He's just like, Emu thought he was fully like Dami Reverse-eyed now. So to have Davy just to ignore all the little fodder lives, like all the Marines and the pirates, like all the like weaklings, and just go straight for the two top fighters, like that obviously probably surprises Emu quite a bit. And then we get to, the most heartbreaking point of the chapter. Rox is one confirmed able to use the voice of all things, tells Garp, also confirmed to be able to use the voice of all things, and Roger that, yo, please kill me now. Like, it's crazy to see that there's still a tiny bit of semblance left in Rox, and he's using that to like beg to like his two top fighters, his two fellow Himothes of the era, to please just end me now, man. And it's going to be crazy to see in the next coming chapters, like how this fight unfolds. Like, I don't think it's going to be like a huge like action sequence because we generally don't get that kind of stuff in flashbacks. I feel like we'll at least see like a couple good clashes, a few exchanges of like the pandemonium or the galaxy impact or the divine departure, like more of like the voice of all things communications between their minds. But yeah, dude, what a chapter. And we still don't have a break next week, so fuck yeah, man. But yeah, the big thing I wanted to like really highlight is like what we learned from, or like what we're currently learning about God Valley compared to what Sengoku told us way back in chapter 957. So way back when Sengoku was talking about the history of the Rocks Pirates, he was obviously talking about God Valley. He mentioned that, the Rocks Pirates, they were disbanded after God Valley, and that was due to the combined efforts rather, of Garp and Goldie Roger. And it was also the event where Garp earned his nickname as the hero of the Marines. And interestingly enough, Sengoku also mentioned that that's like the one tale that Garp hates talking about, which we're starting to see a little bit more and more now why Garp probably hates talking about it. Because outside of the fact that, he was facing, Emu and Rocks and the Rocks Pirates and stuff, he was also seeing like the native cleansing festival. And like, he's like, oh, well, fuck. Yeah, I'm sure that's probably a little bit traumatizing for him. And we had found out that there are two reasons why, he didn't like talking about it. One was because he had to work with pirates to win the battle, which, we're seeing, of course, is true because he had to team up with Roger, which also we knew. And the other big reason why, he doesn't like talking about it is, they told us at the time that he had to protect celestial dragons and their slaves. But now we know that's absolute bullshit. Like, we saw him walk up to Emu and straight up punch him in the face. Like, we know that Garp didn't really give a shit about the celestial dragons. And, as for the slaves part, a lot of those slaves did not make it off of God Valley. You know, Kuma could only save so many of them. So we saw a bunch of, in this chapter, Marines and Celestial Dragons making it off to the escape ships, but that had nothing to do with Garp. Garp was there to just fucking throw hands with the Emu and Rox and Roger. And it's making me now think that this is something that Garp had to tell Sengoku, or at least tell a majority of the Marines around, to hide the fact of what really happened that day, which is, you know, he had to regrettably join forces with Roger, not to fight, you know, the rest of the Rox pirates, but Rox himself, and not to fight Rox because, you know, he's like a criminal or the scourge of the world or whatever. He had to fight him because Rox was begging them to kill him, which just goddamn, dude. Goddamn, dude. Pour one out for my boy Rox. Goddamn, dude. But yeah, like this has been such an amazing flashback so far. This was I'd give this one like a 14 out of 10. Let me just really quick show you guys some tweets that I found pretty interesting. One right here is back when Emmett was making a stand against the Gorosei back in Egghead. He had uttered a message out to Luffy, who he like was referring to as Joy Boy at the time, but he was saying, "Sorry that I could not make you king." And what did we learn this chapter? That Davy D. Jones, well, that's the name of the previous king of the world. So this tweet was suggesting that what if they were friends and Joy Boy was betrayed by Davy, which like maybe like they did have some kind of a shaky alliance going on, but yeah, that would be interesting to see. Like, what if even though they were technically maybe on the same side, maybe they weren't on the same side. Maybe they had nothing to do with each other. Maybe they had like similar goals and stuff. It'll be very interesting to see that Void Century flashback, man. It's like as cool as God Valley is right now, that Void Century flashback is gonna be fucking crazy. And the other tweet that I liked was this person saying that this is the answer to the big question about how Emu allowed Blackbeard to enter the Holy Land if he's of a Davy lineage that like Emu wanted to erase. And like we now know in this chapter, Emu thought that he had already killed them via Rox. So it makes sense that Emu eventually like let Blackbeard back in. But I imagine that he probably learned of Blackbeard's actual lineage not too long after Blackbeard, like, you know, not too long after Marineford. Because, you know, at one point he had to have gotten a poster of, or a wanted poster of Blackbeard and start slashing it up, you know. And at another point, like they had to have learned of his actual lineage because that's the same conversation that Saturn had with Katarina Devon, also back in Egghead, when you know, Katarina Devon, she's like, "Oh, Teach is special," and Saturn's just like, "Yeah, so is his lineage," and dog, it's like all of this is just getting more and more context. Like the reread for this series is just gonna be hit so fucking hard, dude. But yeah, like let me know what y'all thought of this chapter, and maybe if there are like little details and stuff I missed, feel free to let me know because I could talk about One Piece forever, man. But yeah, till next time.